Frank Zindler could be described as a person with an open mind, but his mind is not so open that his brains fall out. Indeed, Frank Zindler has used his mind with courage and humor to help others understand atheism, humanism, separation of church and state, evolution, religious history, ethics, civil rights, and the risks tied to unquestioned, unsupported beliefs. Through several decades of service, the list of Frank Zindler's contributions to the secular movement has grown and is difficult to summarize. To make his contributions, Frank has pulled together a wide range of interests and strengths. Frank's passion to engage others in exploring the larger questions of life almost led to his becoming a Lutheran minister. And his interest in music almost drew him to become a composer. But the force of Frank's intellectual curiosity took him beyond what he found to be belief without evidence. Ultimately, Frank applied his skills in becoming a professor of science, a translator, a biblical scholar concerned with investigating the actual histories of stories in the Bible, and a writer of entertaining songs for non-believers. Frank's experience has been a valuable source of thoughtful strategic advice which he has kindly shared. To engage others, Frank has reached out with multiple books, such as The Jesus the Jews Never Knew, and an annotated edition of Thomas Paine's Age of Reason. Frank wrote and edited for American Atheist publications, working closely with Madalyn Murray O'Hair, and served as board member and interim president of American Atheists. For years, Frank was a voice of Dial an Atheist, which became the inspiration for our Dial a Humanist service and blog. People in Columbus fondly remember having a chapter of the American Atheists led by Frank Zindler. Former members recall his willingness to engage even groups of strangers in conversations about their beliefs. Frank's passionate truth-seeking resulted in debates with one of the most prominent Christian apologists, William Lane Craig, and with creationist Duane Gish. Maybe the best way to summarize Frank Zindler's contributions is to say, we are fortunate that Frank Zindler has been on our side, the side of those willing to follow the evidence where it leads. The Humanist community presents an Apex Award to a person who has made a difference through years of dedicated service to the secular community. This year, it is my honor to present the Humanist community of Central Ohio's Apex Award to Mr. Frank Zindler. I know now who I want to have perform my memorial service when I cash my chips in. Well, I have to tell you, it is a genuine honor to be given this award. I love these transparent ice-like things. And first of all, I have to say that I'm going to be 75 in May, so it's a little ways off yet. But I'm almost 3/4 of a century old. And today is the first time in all those years that I ever had any acknowledgement whatsoever as far as having given money to something. It's really a very unusual thing. And it is simply due to the fact that it's only been during the last very few years that because of my personal situation, I've had any money to give to anything. Up until then, almost for more than 50 years of my activism, all of my recognition has come from activism, from doing things. I never had any money to give, and so instead of money, I had to do something. And in fact, even when I became acting president of American Atheists, I never accepted a salary. All these years since '95, when Madalyn Murray O'Hair was killed,
I have served without salary as editor of American Atheist Press. And that was what I thought I had to do. I had to contribute what I had to contribute. And this brings me to an answer to what Derek had asked me privately to do when I give this little spiel. And that was that I should tell you people that there is hope, that there is something that you can do to change the world, to make it better, that things are going to improve, and it's going to, however, take your action. One of the things that I would recommend, something that I think has been important in my own activism, is to serve as a beacon of hope for the other freethinkers who are out there. When I was growing up, it was very, very rare to know anybody else who was an atheist or a humanist. And it was just a tremendous joy when I finally found some other person who was an atheist. And then later, a similar thing with a humanist. And I then realized, well, you know, as soon as it got safe enough, though, that you didn't have to worry about being physically attacked, which, by the way, was a problem in the early days, I found that having lapel buttons, like this one here, which Jay Sherburne made for me, which uses, in this case, the A word, which really, it's proudly saying, I am an atheist. Or you could say, I am a humanist. And by the way, I am both. And for what it's worth, my analysis of these two words, humanist, atheist, when somebody asks me, Frank, what do you think is true about the universe? What do you think is factually true about the universe? I say, well, I'm an atheist. When you say, Frank, where are your values? What is the foundation of your value system? I say, I am a humanist. So these are, as you will, non-overlapping magisteria. I hate to quote Stephen Gould, we never got along, but although he was totally false in his use of that term for the way he used it, I found better use for it. And so I say atheist and humanist are non-overlapping magisteria. But I think that it is really important, and it's such a simple thing to do, is to wear a button proclaiming that, you know, you are not in a religion, that you are in opposition to organized religion, that you are putting your hope in something that passes for reason rather than belief or credulity. And you will be surprised at how many people you will meet. You know, it's so easy to think, especially when you're coming at it from the atheist side of the story, it's so easy to think that, well, I need to be out there arguing and converting people. Well, that's important, but mainly you have to be letting yourself be a beacon of hope to the other people who, from other routes, whatever, have found their way to your position already, but are isolated and need the social and intellectual support that you can give them and that this organization can give them. So, beacon of hope is the thing that you should start with. And then, yes, you can go on, if you have the skills, you can go on to debating and things like that. But let me tell you, in all my life as a debater, I have never convinced my opponent. Ever. Not even once. But I never expected to. But why then did I debate? Well, it was for all the hundreds and thousands of people who were hearing the debate, who would say, oh, wow, you know, Zindler's got a good idea there, and well, I never knew that. Wow, you know. And then, you know, many of them were already with me, but they just needed some more reinforcement, and then they knew how to get a hold of me. And then there were others who were just wavering. And there were some that maybe hearing me and comparing what I said with my opponent was just enough to sway them, and they would then come over on what ultimately would be my side. But basically, there is hope. But, you know, the world is in a very precarious position right now. We have incredibly insane politicians who, believe that the world is only 6,000 years old. They believe in talking snakes, as well as handling snakes. And they are opposed to the teaching of real science. And these are the people who are seeking to control the American government. And so you cannot let up your opposition. You have to keep being a voice and a face of reason. And this means political action, absolutely. But it is important that these troglodytes who want to send us back to the Stone Age know that there is a sizable opposition, and you have to be that opposition. And so to sum up, I really am very honored to receive this award. I have been a member of the Humanist group since I came here 31 years ago, and it has been the one continuous voice of reason that I have been associated with in the city of Columbus. Thank you very much.